Well, good evening. You're very welcome to the Masters Championship for number 6 of Division 2 here at Monaco, the one and only Monaco Grand Prix at Monte Carlo. My name is Graham, and I'm going to do my best to bring the action to you tonight. Joining me tonight in the booth is nobody, because no one could apparently come and do this. So it is just me for this good old 39 lap slog, as well as qualifying to boot. So should be fun. Kind of the laps be flying in here and there, so I'll do my best to try and keep up as we go through a bit of housekeeping in the tables, etc, etc, all the stuff that I'd expect a co-commentator to do. So with that in mind, we'll go through the standings very quickly, because there are a few interesting little things that are happening in the championship for the next, at least for the foreseeable future. Dan Morris leads the way on 63 points, but Dan is going to be missing these next 3 races, so it's a good chance for SH to catch up and make up some ground in the standings. He's in 52 points in second place, so can get a good result here and get himself well on track towards a title. Kerrison Kev is in third on 48 points, Burton fourth on 39, and then TMC Wesker in fifth on 34 points. And in the constructors, I actually went away from it for a second on my phone. It is McLaren leading, I believe. It's 83 points, with Mercedes on 56 points in second, Ferrari in third on 53, Toro Rosso 51 in fourth, and then Williams in fifth on 49. So there's quite a bit. If I can find an actual car on a lap, that'd be actually useful. Something, anything. Sure, we'll go on board unsafe release. So a couple of changes for tonight. Obviously the aforementioned Dan Mars isn't here, but his teammate Jono is not able to be here either for the next week or so, next 2 weeks. So both of those guys tonight are being replaced with Stevie G from Division 3, and then Venom Splits also jumping in the McLaren. And in the Mercedes replacing tonight, Kerrison Kev is Extrema, another one from Div 3, and then unsafe release is in the Red Bull for tonight. So I think that covers all the housekeeping. So sorry that was a little convoluted, but anyways, you can look away from the phone now. So far Stevie G has got things running with a 109.9. Venom Split's looking quite tasty in second place on the set of mediums, 10 flat. To be honest, I was expecting a lot more people in the 9s, I will be honest. Though I know a few people are kind of split on the strategy so far anyways on tyres, so I'm sure there's plenty still to come yet, hopefully now. Otherwise I'll be feeling like I should have been in this race and gone for a pole position or something myself. So literally nothing's happening on track at the moment because no one's on a flying lap. I guess the closest thing is oh, that's a beautiful straight line of the chicane. That's what you want to see from dear. Is anyone on a lap? For goodness sake, can we find someone? I don't think anyone's on a lap. I don't know. Because either everyone's in the pits or on their out lap. So I mean, it should be fairly quick to turn around here. But oh, for goodness sake, can we find someone on a lap anywhere? Someone's got to be close. I think SH is close. We're going to go on board SH because he's at least close to starting a lap, so may as well do this then. I believe Wesker might be on a lap as well, actually. We can go on board Wesker. No, he's abandoned his lap. Never mind, we'll change. We'll divert then and go on board SH and the Ferraris. It heads up to Sandavot then. A bit tentative on the way in, but gets it nicely hooked around and up through Beau Ravage. Left-hander Matt, they don't want to drift too far wide. This is a necessary approach here for the casino corner, which is a pain in the ass to get right, but you'll see often people get it wrong and hook their right hand tyre into the apex, and then you go into the barrier as well. Through the chicane, through the hairpin, and then through Porte, you want to try and keep it nice and tight, and then blast through the tunnel down then towards the Nouvelle chicane, where I imagine you're going to see a bunch of overtaking, but certainly a good chunk of overtaking around this track is done through here. I'm not sure if that will count as an validation for SH, but he heads then towards the back. Left a bit of time on the table as he heads towards the swimming pool then. Try to be easy as he can on the way out of that corner. If you blast, you can easily get yourself caught into a wall. But here he comes then. Goes to the DRS then. Down towards the line. And it's a 109.8, and that is provisional pole for the time being for SH, and that's all he needs to do for the time being. Let's see if you can pick up anyone on a lap synchronizer. Just goes into the top 10. It's the problem when they all come across it, like they're just going to absolutely all fly in. So there they are. See if you can find anyone close to the end of a lap. We'll stick with Venom Splits then, is it, or 10Cat or 10K rather in the Renault. So he rounds Anthony Noakes. Blast the DRS. I think he's actually just beginning a lap, to be fair. We'll go back on board of Wesker as he goes through Raskas, nice and tight. ERS is well empty though. So how has he managed to drain that all the way as Weiberg goes down provisional pole? 109.7 for the Toro Rosso driver. Weiberg getting himself amongst the action as Wesker goes 6th. 10.3 only to be supplanted by Burt, the other Toro Rosso, who goes now 4th fastest after Venom Splits then finally gets things going. 8.8 for Venom Splits, and I think we can just wrap this up. Unless SH has got just an absolute all-worldly lap, you know, I think we can I think we could safely call Venom Splits for pole position, because yeah, good luck trying to beat that time as the other Ferrari of Yaram into 4th then. So looking good for Ferrari and Toro Rosso at the moment, and McLaren aren't looking too bad either. The likes of Williams could definitely do with a nice little boost. Where's Merck? Merck's in 11th at the moment, so Merck's got some work to do. Everyone else pretty much on softs at this stage. The strategy from these guys is fairly clear, as 10K then manages to split things up at the top then. Goes second with a 9.6. Still obviously quite a bit behind Venom Splits, but definitely good enough for the front spot. Sorry, for a spot in the front row, at least for the time being, as we get over 7 and 44 seconds left. See if anything can change. Timo climbing up the hill, starting a lap. The other Racing Point is just navigating the swimming pool. We want to keep it tight around this one, around Raskas. A little bit more difficult this year than in the years past, but blasting down the main street is going to be not a bad lap from Sway, is it? He goes up to 9th with a 10.1. See what his teammates doing. He's just coming through the tunnel. You can pick up anyone else on a lap. 10K on an out lap. I think everyone else kind of basically in the pits pretty much, or on an out lap. Not a ton of people on flying laps, so we'll keep going with the other Racing Points then as he heads towards the back. A kind of all or nothing corner. If you're brave, you can really set yourself up for a good sector. Just a bit of couple across that chicane was. Timo is going to dive into the pits then. So we'll go on board the Haas of Focky then in 17th place. Got a bit of time to make up. See if he can do this lap. He's a second up on his time already. That will definitely take him towards the top 10 if he can hook this final sector up right. He hits the barrier and very, very wide through Raskas. So they're going to finish the lap, but there's more time to be found in this lap for Focky. See blast then towards the finish line. 13th place, 7/10 quicker on this previous time, but I think there's a lot of more time to be found in that lap for Focky. His teammate into the pits from P15 at the moment, so Focky going well then. I suspect he could get himself into the top 10, but he's going to have to hook it up right. Speaking of, go on board the Ferrari of SH. See, he's going through the first sector. He's 2/10 up, which would take him at the moment ahead of Weiberg and possibly 10K as well if he can get the rest of this lap hooked up. Surprisingly, you've had no retirement so far. You know, I thought Monaco, someone may have been caught out by this stage, but nothing of the sort yet. As through the tunnel, blast SH and out. Of course, we are racing at night as Stevie G then goes into 3rd place on McLaren again, looking good. See if anyone can then split them. Ooh, a bit of contact then from SH into the barrier. He is 4/10 up though, so his lap is looking good despite that. With a wing flying across the track there from the car in front of him. It's a Haas of Focky, so he's going to have to pull in then. But SH then continues his lap despite his various little foibles on this lap, and he goes into 2nd place with a 9.6. So he does get up to 2nd, just 400s ahead of 10K. but still a long way off of Venom Splits, who I don't know if would need to go out again. Maybe he might. So you can pick up anyone else as Wesker comes out of the pits. Merck then. We'll go on board Merck in 13th place on his flying lap in the Williams as he heads through Rascass and through Anthony Nobes then as well. And a dart down to the line. What can this Williams do? All the way up to second. 9.3 for Merck. He's absolutely nailed that lap and flies convincingly into second. That's a great lap then from Merck. I suspect he'll be well pleased with that, because it's one thing to get this all, you know, in practice, etc., hook it all up, but another to get it done in actual qualifying itself. As Weiberg then goes up to third, some great lap time flying in. 9.4 for TMC Weiberg, goes to third quickest as we just get over just under 4 minutes. Then his teammate Burst, I think, did improve, but is still in 7th place with a 109.7. But lap time's definitely getting much better now as the session begins to get closer and closer to the end. See if we can find anyone else on that lap. I think Yarm's actually on a lap. A few comments flying in as well on the YouTube. Open a few up. As Yarm comes down to the chicane, so of course you want to be careful not to take too much of the left as you come out. Ooh, that's a nice tabac from Yarm, absolutely on the limit, but he is still 600s down, and that'll have to abandon his lap there. Absolutely full commitment through tabac, but just couldn't hook up the swimming pool, and he'll have to come into the pits then to replace that wing. Everyone else pretty much in the pits, except in the pits slash on an in lap slash out lap, except for Timo. I think is on a flying lap and has actually turned it down, so he's bailed on his lap then. Venom Splits back out on track. Probably doesn't need to do anything else here, but at last he's going to go for it regardless. He's a 10th down in this first sector and extremely wide. I suspect did he get wing damage, or did he just horribly misjudge that? Absolutely shocking camera angle. But he won't be improving this lap anyways. And again, not that he really needs to. Oh, for goodness sake, we get a good camera angle. Thank you. So annoying to try and see if you got wing damage. You have to wait for the broadcast angle to actually be cooperative, but nothing of the sort. Adibaba, I'll go on board Adibaba as he's on a lap. Everyone else either in the pits or on an out lap, or like Venom Splits, screwed up on the lap as in comes Adibaba, right-hander, not bad through the casino. And he's less than a 10th up on his times, Adibaba, so just struggling for pace at the moment. See how the rest of the lap hooks up, but he's going to need a bit more than that to get out of 18th place as Matter then retires. He was in 19th place as it was, and CVG then out as well on a flying lap, I think, as well. I think he's been that, so he won't be going any higher than 6th, but still in a good spot for this race nevertheless at this present moment. See what happens when the rest of these laps come flying in the next minute and 25 seconds. That's Adibaba on the limit. Conservative chicane, but not a bad one. Right-hander for Rascass, and then Anthony Noakes then. A little bit wide on entry, but then we go then. This is probably going to be his last lap. And he can't, he does improve, but it's still not enough to lift him out of 17th or 18th place, and that's going to be the most Adibaba can do, and retires on track as well for good measure, I believe, which I believe is supposed to be a qualifying ban. SH though, trying to find something in his lap. Who's furthest forward? I think it is actually SH, to be fair, on a flying lap. He technically will have enough time to do another one, but I don't think he'll have the ERS to do another flying lap. Okay, we'll go be on board. Better than the broadcast angle, just to see who's on the raggedy edge, and SH then bottling that. Rascass then, he's going to have to try and pull in to the pits, and that is going to be his lap over his teammate, just starting an out lap, or starting a flying lap himself. Sway looks like he's just beginning to start a lap himself, so see who's furthest along. Timo won't be going any faster, he's on an in lap. Neither will Weiberg, he's in the wall. Actually, the old The old hairpin. Who's on it? Can we find anyone on a lap? So P17 for Timo. It's not the session he would have wanted. There you go, man. We're going to borrow Merck then. Ooh, contact with the wall with Merck. And he's pulling into the pits then as well. So anyone could be pick up. Go borrow Team Z's Zlatan and Focky in front of him. So we'll go and borrow the Haas. The Alfa Romeo in front of that of Mark Demand. So we'll go and borrow Mark Demand. Extreme then goes 9th. Venom splits obviously. Provisional pole. Mark Demand stays 16th. Team Z's Zlatan, I think, does go into 10th, does he? Well, he's in the top 10. Extreme then in 9th. As Bert then goes 4th fastest. Sends a good lap from Bert. Where is Yaram? So he rounds Raskas. Everyone else pretty much done their lap. We have a Ferrari then. Can he out-qualify his teammate here tonight? No, he cannot, which just leaves Swain in to try and improve on his lap, and he is improving. And he goes 8th fastest into the top 10 for Swain, the Racing Point. Good qualifying session from him, and I think that's going to do it for qualifying. So a little bit anticlimactic in the end because Venom Splits set that absolutely ridiculous lap time very early on, but he is going to be taking pole position at Monaco ahead of Merck in second. Oh, very nice quick transition today. So Venom Splits convincingly in the end ahead of Merck in second, Weiberg in a great qualifying position in third, Bert in fourth, SH fifth, 10K in sixth, DBG seventh, Sway in eighth, Yaram ninth, Extrema then rounds out the top 10. Then outside is Team Z's Zlatan, Wesker, Unsafe Release, Synchronizer, Focky, Mark Demand, Timo, Adibaba, and then ILR Team Matter in 19th place. So a couple of people are interestingly placed, like Wesker and Adam in 11th. Of course, I have free choice to whatever tyres they desire outside the top 10. Could go for some mediums maybe. Go a bit longer. I wouldn't recommend the hards too much to start, purely because an early safety car would utterly ruin any strategy you would want to have. Whereas if you pit lap 5 or something for Sev hards, you could probably take them to the end. It's just, if you start on hards, it's just risky. It's risky around here, but we'll see what they do. Plenty to ponder upon as we look at a beautiful pit lane. So we'll see. I can't imagine. We'll see. We'll see if anyone goes for the soft outside the top 10. I get the track position so key here, so you may want to just choose a set of softs if you're in like 14th or something, and try and make up a few positions off a line on lap 1, because it's so important to just try and gain as many positions as possible and just try your best to help yourself in that regard, because you could just end up stuck behind someone for the duration of well, the first stint, and you know, that's your race pretty much. Stuck behind someone. Cough, Wesker, cough. Oh, I'm sorry. Right, formation lap is a go. So what have we got then? So no one choosing the softs outside the top 10. Majority of the field going for mediums, with the exception of Mark Demand, Timo, and ILR Team Matter choosing the hards. Everyone else, Adibaba, Focky, Synchronizer, Unsafe Release, Wesker, and Adam, all choosing the mediums outside the top 10. So they'll go to, well, the strategy on the mediums is go to around lap 20 or so if you can, and then switch to the hards. But the undercut value is obviously quite strong here, because if you're stuck behind someone for track position, if you've got a nice clear window to pit into, you can put on the hards, you know, much earlier than lap 20 or whatever, lap 19. You could try undercut them that way. I myself find myself undercut by Joe Corboy in Division 1 last night for the same kind of thing. I want to run the strategy to lap 20 on mediums. He pitted much earlier on the hards. Overcut me by a good 8, 9, 10 seconds in the end. But your advantage if you pit later and you are undercut is that maybe later on the tyres will come to you and you can use that to your advantage. And you know, penalties are a big factor here, especially, you know, you're talking Nouvelle Chicane, you're talking Swimming Pool, you're talking Saint Devote. You know, you could find that advantage swinging back to you later, even if you lose track position at least to start. So we'll see what happens. A lot to be decided in these 39 laps, with Venom Splits starting from pole position. ahead of Merck, Weiberg and Burt. As Venom Splits takes his position and his car pointed to the left hand side to try and cut off the fast starting Williams. We'll see Weiberg in an interesting position as well, so gonna be interesting to see who we got then for position off the line. 39 laps. It's a marathon, not a sprint, and it starts now. As that's a good getaway for Merck. He's gonna be alongside Venom Splits into turn 1 around the outside. He's going to try and hang a bit of contact between the two, or further contact than Weiberg, but they managed to get through okay. And the rest of the grid as they head up the hill, all clean so far, except Matter has been left behind somewhat as Venom Splits then survives the start, but he was lucky in many ways because Merck had got an absolutely perfect start, and 10k trying to go down the inside of Burt for P5 at Mirabeau. Didn't make it happen this time. And look at this Mercedes, look at look at Extrema trying to force his way through. Oh, but the contact, another Ferrari goes skyward, and the two Haas's then side by side as well, fucking synchronizer as they slip through then the Lowe's hairpin for the first time. So Extrema a little bit naughty there, has to be said, as they came thundering down as they slow down for the first time then towards the Nouvelle chicane. Any chance of an overtake on lap 1? Doesn't look like it. Two Haas boys running very close together. Alfa Romeo's quite close as well, as Timo's lost some ground to start, but in the end then, despite the nervous start, Venom Splits is leading the way with Merck and Weiberg right behind. Then SH then splitting the Toro Rosso, so SH getting the jump on Burt off the line as they complete lap 1 then. 1 of 39, and we've got two people in the pits. Got Focky and Mark Demand already into the pits after lap 1, so not the best start then for those two, as already Venom's got a 1.2 second gap to Merck in second. A little bit of action then, CVG getting close to the back of Sway, who's made up a spot or two. The C is actually made up of places, so there you go. Then SH making up one, Sway, Extrema, unsafe release making up a few, and then Adibaba a bit further down the field making a few more places. Pit stops obviously a factor as well, as Weiberg getting close to Merck, 3/10, but not close enough, and SH not too far behind this as well. So it's going to be critical then, because of course there's no DRS heading down towards, as we already get a penalty already for unsafe release. There's no DRS heading down towards the Nouvelle chicane. It's purely based on traction. So, you know, traction out of Portier and through the tunnel, sticking to Rich and overtake, and see what you can do. It's down here where the DRS is enabled, and already 2-second lead there for Venom Splits. He's doing well, as Yarm then comes into the pits to, I presume, replace a front wing, and he is indeed changing that wing. The first of many, I'm sure. Well, not the first make, I'm sure actually that Focky and Mark Demand have already changed their wings, but I'll see plenty more of those flying off tonight, I'm sure, as they head down towards Mirabeau then. So nice little gaggle here between Merck, Weiberg and then SH then, and Burt not too far behind that. So this is where the bulk of the action is so far on lap 3 of 39. It's not a bad run for SH out of Portier, but it's just not going to be close enough. A bit of a wiggle then for Weiberg, and has to brake nice and early to try and slow down in time. The last thing you want to do is, of course, misjudge your braking into the chicane, and then, you know, if you go to cut the corner, then, you know, all the a lot of the penalties arise from there. And here, to be fair, has to judge it very carefully, and Weiberg was actually close to hitting the barrier out of that swimming pool chicane. Again, he needs to be so careful. It's better to be a bit slower out if possible, because otherwise it is just it's a tough one, because you will hit the barrier and you will break your wing, and then everything will snowball from there. But I have to say, I do think maybe Weiberg could go a little bit quicker than he currently is at the moment, pent up behind that Williams. And the longer this first stint goes on, the more you have to think about undercuts and what you want to do, because, well, you have to think about that and obviously the gap you're feeding into. So for example, if you're Venom Splits, you're feeding into, you know, P15 into traffic, so you just have to try. This is why it's almost better to go long in a sense, because if you're on mediums, it's better to go long because you know, it's so easy to trip up over other cars in traffic, etc. As Weiberg not quite close enough to make a move this time down towards the chicane. As now Birch, SH, 10k, they're all getting involved now because they're all just pent up behind one another. If you pit now on softs, you're going to be well down the field, and it's going to be tough to try and make those places back, and you're going to be doing so much time. It's just a giant. That's all this racetrack is. It's a giant snowball where one thing leads to another and another and another and another. Or if you're going long and just focus on your own race, you have a nice little chance. Oh, it's a poor run for SH out of the chicane. I don't know if he's damaged his wing or not, but he's going to be lucky not to be under attack from Bert this time round. See if he can go on board. Oh, another poor run, and he has got down to the left hand side, and Bert then up the hill has to try and get this move. 10k down on the inside of Bert. Gonna try and stick his Renault there. Oh, contact between the two Dutchmen. Oh, more contact, and that puts 10k then back down into 6th place. I'm not sure if he's got a damaged wing. We know SH does. You can see it there. I think Bert's looks okay as well as 10k, so lucky in that instance not to have damaged themselves a lot more. But that certainly helped, certainly Weiberg a bit from behind. But again, we can't mention he's kind of being the aggressor more than the attacker, and he's got a decent run on Merck, but not close enough to make a move this time down towards the chicane. So how long then can these guys in the softs make their tyres last? Because again, you don't want to be pitting too early. In a sense, you want to undercut, but in the other sense, you don't want to put yourself into traffic and obviously ruin any undercut that you're trying to make happen. So for instance, where are we? So there's a nice little gap between Mark Demand as SH comes into the pits and yellow flag sector 2. We've got off, is that Focky? No, it's Mark Demand. He's off the track and he retires from the session. And we'll see then what the story is for a safety car, if indeed we'll get one. And again, Weiberg all over the back of Merck. Have a nice little gap then to Birch, who of course is now released after SH then pulled into the pits to try and repair that damage. He goes on the hard compound tyres, and he should be able to go to the end of the race then from here. Look at Weiberg just hooking up that apex really nicely as Yaron picks up a penalty, so of course he's already down in 18th place, so not the best day then for Ferrari so far. And again, that's a decent little run from Weiberg, but Merck has just got enough straight line speed heading out of that tunnel, and he's just holding on for the time being. But if you're Weiberg, you're going to have to think of a time to stop soon. 20 seconds about from there. Yeah, I mean, you're still, again, it's kind of traffic no matter where you're at. As I mean, look at Venom Splits, he's just gone. Man's just gone. 7.5 seconds up the road on lap 7. Like, he is just absolutely gone. Stevie G comes into the pits. There's an overtake there. I think actually Matter overtook Timo, and that was for P14. So Stevie G then the first of those runners on the soft end to make a kind of a scheduled stop, I assume. I don't think he's going to change a wing, is he? I think it may have been, actually, to be fair. So looks like that was an unscheduled stop. So go back up towards the battle for P2. It's Weiberg against Merck. And driving well, these two so far. But now, of course, their squabbling has allowed Bert and 10k to catch back up. And Sway not too far behind that battle either. Though he has got damage to the right-hand side of that wing in that racing point. That's going to make life a little bit tricky for him. And that's why he's dropped back 2.3 seconds behind that battle where he was basically right behind them. So that's a shame for him. He's got to be careful, Sway, where he chooses to pit. And the wing damage, of course, he had to take an extra 7 or so seconds to try and repair that damage as Wesker stuck behind unsafe release. He's stuck behind the 2 Red Bulls. As for P10, he's on mediums. Highest medium runner is, of course, Team D's Zlatan, who can make that work. And Merck then comes into the pits. So Merck then first to blink of the front runners on the softs. What was he put on? Any wing damage to mention of? No. And he puts on the medium. Oh, sorry, that's the hard compound tires. It looked like the mediums for a sec, but where's he going to come out then? Where's he going to feed into? As Wesker right behind unsafe release. His teammate then. It's a nice little gap then Merck has emerged into. He's going to be ahead of Matter. And Adibaba is a little bit up the road. You have to be careful though, because Adibaba is on mediums and 4.6 seconds behind. So it's going to be possible he catches that before Adibaba makes his stop as Synchronized picks up a penalty in P10. He's part of this little train we're watching, all on mediums. Adam, unsafe release, Wesker, Synchronizer, and then Adibaba, as we mentioned a few seconds further back of that. So if you're Weiberg, like, I'm not sure why you wouldn't just try the overcut, maybe just carry on. He's got good pace in that Toro Rosso. He is going to be losing a little bit of time to Merck with the fresh tyres, but at a certain point I think he will actually catch up. So what does he decide to do? He's not going to respond, neither is Bert, 10k neither. So they're going to carry on then and let Merck catch up to the back of Adibaba, which he's already caught around second. So as Sway then comes into the pits from P5, I believe it was, and he's got a front wing waiting for him as Team Zlatan continues to chase Extrema, who is on old softs, and this will be frustrating to all these guys behind because it's just trying to find a way by contact with the wall for Extrema. So give Adam his chance. He swoops around the outside into the casino square. Good move there, taking advantage while he could, and he's through then. That's a big move for Adam for his race. See, because he was the only one that got through then on that occasion, and you have to try then, the rest of them will have to try and feed their way through, see if they can have any luck then. See what the run is out of Portillo. It's a really poor run. That's going to give Unsafe Release a chance, but he's going to go down the inside. Dangerous place to overtake. Has to lift off the throttle slightly. Will he go for the move? As no, not quite. So a little bit of a missed opportunity there for Unsafe Release. Had a little look. It was a great chance because Extrema got such a poor run out of Portier with his tyres just ever aging. Couldn't get done, and look at like Adams already pulled away 2 seconds from this as 10k comes into the pits then. So 10k trying to initiate an undercut then on these two Toro Rossos who have carried on for another lap, as Extrema then pits as well, and Wesker trying to have a look on this Red Bull, which doesn't go defensive, and he makes the move into turn 1. Can he make it stick? Yes, he can. So Wesker then, that's a legit move for position into P5 then, as where is Merck? So Merck's 1.5 seconds behind that Alfa Romeo as side by side then 10k, and actually I think Matter had to let him go. So good team racing there as Extrema then comes out well down the field. SH in 12th behind a racing point of Timo, of course, on the hards, and that's a tough one then for SH because again Timo ain't stopping anytime soon, at least for a scheduled stop. So what about these two Toro Rossos, as the second one is just got a step, a 3-second penalty then with Bert picking that up around the Nouvelle chicane. Look at Venom Splits, and Venom Splits is into the pits then as SH looks like he's got by. He's actually got by. Must have been a mistake for Timo out of Portier because he's got through well before the tunnel, and Weiberg pits then, and his teammate will have to soldier on another lap. So where will Venom Splits emerge? He's not going to emerge. Where is Adam? So Venom Splits then is going to emerge. Where is Wesker? So he's ahead of Wesker then, and behind Adam by about, how many seconds is that? 3.3. So that's worked out decently well then, as Merck just behind Adibaba then. He's been up those 5 seconds fairly quickly. 10k's just behind Weiberg, so the undercut didn't quite work. Oh, very close between the two. It was a good shout by 10k, but Weiberg's gone for the mediums. So that's an interesting one. He's got to try and make those last to the end of the race, otherwise he's got to make another stop, and that's a little bit of a sloppy move there. Merck trying to get through on Adibaba. Couldn't quite get it done. Is he missing part of his front wing? No, not this time. Let's see what his run is like out of Portier and then through the tunnel and down towards the Nouvelle chicane. Sign of an overtake, has a think about it, but isn't quite far enough down the inside to try and stick it, at least on this occasion. And already 10k's dropped a second behind Weiberg already, so Weiberg's flying as his teammate then is into the pits. So if that was how close then Weiberg came out in comparison to 10k, where is Bert going to feed into all this? Medium tyres for Bert as well. So that's an interesting call then. Surely 27 laps, his teammate goes through, 10k also goes through, so he's lost that position then to the Renault. But he is on the medium tyres, so both Toro Rossos have gone for the mediums. That's an interesting call. I don't think there's any weather to play a factor here, but That's an interesting choice, definitely, to say the least, from the two Toro Rosso. See how it pays off in the end. 27 laps. It's definitely possible to get that done as SH gets by Matter for P10. Definitely possible to get it done in terms of tyre wear, but I don't know. I'd rather stick to the original strategy in the sense and, you know, pull ourselves hard and try and go to the end, as Merck can't quite find a way through on that Alfa Romeo, as the TMZ's Latam coming under pressure from Venom Splits. Of course, Venom Splits has made a stop. Adam a few laps away from his stop quite yet, as Timo, there's a bit of action going on here, as we've got Extrema, we've got Synchronizer, and I think Timo's actually got wind damage. He lets his teammate go, but a nice juicy bit of action then for P13 between Extrema and Synchronizer, as 10k then comes into the pit. So he's just pitted from the hards, and he's going to have to pit again because he has damaged that front wing. That's a big blow for 10k, who's on for a really good result. I think he's looking at a net P3 then, basically. Certainly in the top 5. And has let it go somewhere, wherever he's made contact with the barrier. As, look at this, like Merck hustling and harrying. And this is why it makes sense if you're, if you're the likes of teams like Zlatan or Wesker or whatever, you go long, because you're gonna like, how many laps ago did Merck catch that Alfa Romeo of Adi Baba, and he still cannot get by? If anything, he's going to be under more pressure from Weiberg, who's of course on mediums, and if Weiberg wants to make the strategy work, he's got to try and find a way by that Williams, because that Williams is going to go to the end of the race, as is, you'd imagine, what's in the strategy, the Toro Rossos as well. As then Team D's Latan comes into the pits on lap 12, so early enough then. And then Splits blast through to retake the lead of this race. So then where does Adam figure into the equation? It's going to be a lot of traffic for sure. He's going to be in front of CVG, is he? Where's Matter? Matter, there he is. So Adam emerges just in front of the other Renault in P9 on a fresh set of hards, and they can go then to the end of this race. Lap 14 of 39. Has everyone made a stop now? No, not quite. Could be people yet to make a stop on mediums and a few on hards. As Stevie G made a mistake, shortly coming through Casino, and there goes Extrema and Synchronizer, as Yarm retires from the session then through Sector 3. See if he can pick up on board with Venom Split. See where that was. I suspect it may have been through here, this complex here. Not sure. The track seems clear anyways, and a VSC is deployed, and it's going to be absolutely perfect for Wesker. Unsafely as Adi Baba maybe as well, and that has worked out perfectly. They dive into the pistols. Wesker, Venom Split has already passed the line, I think. So Wesker then going long has paid off. Unsafe release into the pits as well. It's a nice gap though. I'm not sure if it makes too much for Adi Baba. Decides to go. That's a very strange decision from Adi Baba. That's a strange one. So where's Wesker then? As we are racing once again. So Wesker then emerges in P7. So it's helped him somewhat. There's TMZ's Zlatan then as he head up the hill. Wesker is ahead. And so Wesker into 7th then on fresher tyres then than all the guys in front of him by quite a decent margin. And obviously you'd imagine that these two Toro Rossos will be feeling the weight of their tyres come the end of the race. So Wesker then, all of a sudden, if he can keep it clean, is looking in a nice little position here. And of course with these guys all pent up, he's going to catch this lot fairly quickly. Unsafe release a little bit further down in 12th place, didn't quite get as good of a run on it as Wesker did then. But game on then, as Weiberg is surely going to be his best chance. She's going to have to have a go down the inside. No, backs out of it. And chances like that don't come too often. You have to weigh up in your head what's the best way to do it. You're going to go for it because you might not get another chance, or do you play it safe, play it patient, and think, no, I will get another chance at some point or another. And they're all still stuck behind Adi Baba. I'm amazed Adi Baba didn't come into the pits there. It's quite insane, to be honest. I would have thought it would be the perfect time to pit, but still there's a gaggle of cars behind him, and he's still holding on because Merck can't get close enough to make a move into turn 1, at least for now. We've got Merck, Weiberg, Burt, SH, and Wesker catching up as well as Adam on the back of that. So a nice little battle. This is basically for P2 in the end. Oh, Weiberg still got down the inside. Oh, at Mirabeau went for the move, didn't quite make it work, but was able to keep his position for the time being. As Matter then, look, this is some battles to be fair between Extrema and Synchronizer. I would love to keep an eye on that, but I'm going to stick with this one for P2, at least for now. And no one quite close enough to make a move yet. Wesker's definitely closing that gap as Timo then comes into the pits. Not a great run for Timo in this race, as they're all still just trying to get by that Alfa Romeo. Weiberg getting a little bit more impatient on his mediums. How long before we see someone go for a move that maybe they shouldn't? As they open the DRS once again. Adi Baba just has got enough straight line speed to keep himself ahead as Synchronizer then comes into the pits. And Weiberg then heading up the hill, close, not quite side by side with Merck. Oh, a big lag spike there. I'm not sure if he damaged his wing because of that. Doesn't look like it, thankfully, but he's still trying, hustling and harrying that Williams for all he's worth. Desperate to find a way, because this is basically for P2 right now, once Adi Baba pits, of course. As now Wesker and Adam have joined this fray as well. So all on different, lots of people on different strategies, different lap old tires. There's so much at stake here, so many variables going on, all for a shot at the podium. And Merck then picks up a 3-second penalty. And how crucial could that be come the end of the race? Bert has one as well in P5. Has that potentially turn away a podium for Merck, and Weiberg then picking up one as well, so a couple more then flying in. And it's as you were. I think that puts the advantage then back to SH, I believe. SH and Wesker, I believe. We'll see what the penalty situation is later. Merck then having a sniff, basically pushing that car up the straight. And you can tell those tyres from Adi Baba really have seen better days. Oh, so Weiberg almost got splinched there as Merck had to avoid the back of that Alfa Romeo. Down the inside, Weiberg was thinking about it. I think he was with a half-hard movement, but didn't go for it fully in the end. As we twist and turn our way, lap 18 of 39. This is all doing wonders for Venom Splits. You can just cruise up the front basically as much as he wants. Merck again getting closer. Will he go for the move? Thinks about it, but again has to slot back in. Oh, contact between Weiberg and Merck, and that sent Merck round, and SH has to squeeze through on Bert as well. And so finally a mistake did happen, and it was Weiberg hitting into the back of Merck. And looked like a bit of lag there, to be fair, because SH picks up a 3-second penalty as well, because I saw Merck lag quite a bit then the lap before, and the contact from behind from Weiberg, the way it spun, absolutely just sent him round. It was a very F1 2018 style, and TMC Zlatan spun us then as well, heading out of the last corner. Oh, he's reversed onto the track, and he's collected sway, and a bunch of cars have got mixed up into that as well. I think 10K may have lost his wing as well, but it's absolute carnage as Bert goes round the outside of SH. Can he get the move on into the casino? Yes. So a great move from Bert. So it's all kicked off lap 19 all at once. 10K's out of this race. I would love to see a safety car at this stage, because it was just help pack everything together, but absolutely everything happened on that last lap. Absolutely everything. Meanwhile, Adi Baba still holding on as Wesker then picks up a 3-second time penalty. He must have cut the corner after the Lowe's hairpin, but now all these guys have penalties. Bert, Wesker, Weiberg, Merck, they all have 3-second penalties. I just don't know if, as Adi Baba picks up a penalty now as well, it's all kicking off. It's absolutely crazy as Sway loses position to Focky because he knows he's got damage. I actually don't think Weiberg's got damage after that contact with Merck, which again would suggest maybe lag, because he came into him at a vast ray of knots. As Adi Baba still goes round, but Weiberg surely got the best chance now of anyone so far to overtake him. Goes to the inside line, forces his way through and down the inside, and finally Adi Baba's valiant defense of P2 finally comes to an end. But Weiberg really committed down the inside. Lucky that no one's coming into the pit, coming out of the pit lane at that stage, because if there was, it would have been curtains then for him and the person coming out of the pits. But he finally got through, and now can try and pull away from this group. So next phase of this race kicks in then for Weiberg. See if he can break free of this group, and if he can, how much can he break? And for Bert, how quickly then can he dispatch that Alfa Romeo, because now he's going to be losing all the time in the world to his teammate, who then can, if he pulls far away enough, can maybe try and take care of his tyres a bit more. Oh, Bert's going to go first. Oh, almost made contact. And SH sitting pretty on this as well. Whereas SH has got ancient tyres. You know, he's lap 14 and he's still got 17 laps to go. So you like, if Wesker could just exercise patience here, he's looking really, really good. But I think the tyres will run out on every single one of these guys eventually, as Adibaba still journeys round. See if Bert can try and follow his teammate through in the same spot he did. Adibaba covers it off this time, and this time Bert can't follow through. Oh, bit of contact was it, or just lost the back end. That's going to let SH in a drag race heading up the hill towards Massenet, and SH is through. So SH then takes back P4 from Bert, who now has Wesker all over his rear end. As they head down towards then Mirabeau. I need a breather in this race to see what happens, because there's so much stuff going on down the field with pit stops and yellow flags and such, so you can see a little bit of it there. As we head down then towards the chicane once again, and this is going to be surely SH's opportunity to go through. Adibaba goes defensive, he's going to go around the outside. Oh, it doesn't quite make it happen this time. There's SH, it's difficult around the outside of the chicane. You really need to be going down the inside to try and make something happen, or at least be much later on the brakes. And look at this, like Weiberg's already gained 6 seconds on this group already. Like, you know, he's pulled away, and it's going to be critical for him, because if he can save his tyres, you know, he'd be safe enough. And Adibaba's still going around 20 laps, and I imagine he's going to try and do the mediums to soft is the only thing I can think of now at this stage. He goes defensive once again, and actually, to be fair, we'll have a look though, as SH then up the outside heading up towards through Beau Rivage, and he's through, and Birch is through as well. And now SH into third place, could try set off after Weiberg and Adibaba kind of falling backwards here. Wesker needs to try and find his way through as quickly as he can. I suspect Adibaba will be coming into the pit soon. CVG and Focky, little action going on there as well, and that's for P10, the last point at the moment. So SH is through then, but it's, look at that, 8.5 seconds up the road as Weiberg, so now he'll know that all these guys are through. And Wesker then, he's going to have a look down the inside into the chicane. No, not quite, has to try and slow down in time. His teammates right behind him as well. An unsafe release, who lost a good bit of time, as you know, from the he was, well, sorry, not lost a good bit of time, he's a good bit behind after he pitched under VSC. He's been able to catch this group up. Yellow flag in sector 2. Oh, there's McLaren going around at Stevie G. So he was battling the the Haas of Focky for the last point, but he's just gone backwards now. And Wesker, Adibaba still stays out, and Wesker still behind that Alfa Romeo, as the rest of them are just running away now. Look, this podium's run away from Wesker completely. Like, all this group, like Wesker, Merck, not Adibaba, but Bert, like, this podium has just run away pretty much, just with the absolute gap that Weiberg is able to pull out in the time it's taken everyone else to get by that Alfa Romeo. And Wesker trying to push Adibaba down towards the hill. Well, not trying to push, so to speak, but, you know, he is pushing, basically, you know, metaphorically speaking. As they head then towards the tunnel, and again, you would think with Wesker's, you know, much fresher hards compared to the absolutely ancient mediums of Adibaba, that Wesker would be able to get a better run on traction out of the out of Portier. But, you know, if you're using medium traction, then, you know, I'm not sure if Adibaba is using no traction. Yeah, maybe have a look if he's using no traction. I'm not sure. As TNT's Latam picks up a penalty in 9th place, it's just behind his teammate, and Adibaba still soldiers on. and still not quite close enough to make a move is Wesker. He must be getting increasingly impatient. He's got pressure behind him, of course. His teammate, the two Red Bulls, who are getting a bit punchy, heading up towards Beau Rivage, and through Massenet then, as well as on the back of this. This is what this race has turned into, just trying to get past Alibaba. And Weiberg found a way through, and subsequently is a long way ahead of this battle, a long way. And is actually still pulling out time over SH. Gap is over 10 seconds now. Wesker getting closer and closer. Surely he's got to try and move here. This is his best chance, surely. He's going to go for it. He leaves his car in. Oh, dangerous. He's pinched the corner on the inside. His teammate goes by. I wonder if that'll end up being a legal overtake, but Merck is through on his teammate. Wesker, it was a half-hearted attempt down the inside of the Nouvelle Chicane. And he got pinched into the wrong spot, hit the inside barrier, and was lucky not to lose more positions than he did. But then let's see if his teammate then can have a better run, trying to overtake that Alfa Romeo. I suspect possibly not, given his tyres are a good bit older than his teammates, but we'll see. He is running no TC, so maybe a better run out Portier is possible. I believe he's running no TC anyways, as Bert's still all over the back of SH, and he's losing more and more time to Weiberg in second. But we'll stick with this battle though. Battle for P4. This net P5 at this stage. So it's kind of how quickly this battle has turned away from a podium battle, and just for P5, as everyone who's got by Alibaba has laid claim to that pretty much. But he's a good run for Merck out of Portier, the run his teammates been waiting for such a long time and never really got. Merck on the outside, later braking, his corner is his, and he swoops through and takes P5 from Alibaba, basically the first time of asking. And now gets set off after Bert in fourth, but 8 seconds down the road is that Toro Rosso. And now it's up to Wesker then. He's seen his teammate do it. See if he can do it himself, and the two Red Bulls giving him company behind, and still he goes on, soldiers on at Alfa Romeo. 26 laps on these, 25 laps rather, on these mediums, and that's going to give confidence surely to Bert and Weiberg. But I mean, maybe more so Weiberg, because he's got time to lose to SH, 11 seconds for those tyres to fall off the cliff as such. Whereas, Wesker trying to force his way through, and he is through finally out of the casino. And Wesker then didn't take too long to follow his teammate in the end. He is through, and now comes a turn of the Red Bulls to try and muster a way through this Alfa Romeo. This has to say, this has been a very interesting strategy from Alibaba. I'm interested to see how it all ends, but his tires are completely fallen off. They're just gone. And so both Toro Rossos do have margin, as Merck, because of another 3-second penalty, they both have margin to the cars behind. 11 seconds, 12 seconds then for as Extrema and Focky getting close for comfort. They do have margins behind them, those two Toro Rossos, but again, we'll see how the tyres hold up, as now unsafe release is the first of the Red Bulls to try and have a crack at this Alfa Romeo, who finally pulls into the pits after a long time, as unsafe release lets his teammate go for reasons I'm not really sure why, unless he's got wing damage. Hard tyres for Alibaba, that is incredible. Wing damage, wing change as well. So to hang out 26 laps on the mediums and then come in for a set, that's insane. That is incredible strategy right there. Yeah, have fun with that one. Comments, WhatsApp chat, etc., because I don't make any sense of that whatsoever. And he's now in stone dead last on a set of hards. That's a strange one, but with that kind of, the race is kind of spreading out just a bit. I mean, we've hardly mentioned Venom splits. He's 20 seconds clear of Weiberg in second, who's in a very lonely second now, with he's over 12 seconds ahead of SH, who is still trying to fend off this Toro Rosso of Bert. And the longer he can do it, I suspect the better chance he's going to have of keeping that third place, because Bert's mediums I don't know how weathered they'll be come the end of the race. We still have another 12 laps to go, including the one we're on. So plenty of action possibly still to come. Only 3 retirements so far, which has been nice, because I know Division 1 had a lot more than that last night. I think only 12, I think only 11 drivers actually finished in the end. Whereas it's still got 16 strong here in Division 2, as meanwhile Extrema now becoming a little bit more of a factor further down with fresher mediums that go handily to the end and try to hunt down these Red Bulls on the harder compound tires. You'll get a nice little run here. Is Extrema. Oh, pinched somewhat. Oh, and contacting himself, an unsafe release. He's got wing damage. Oh, they both have wing damage. Oh, I'm not sure how to see that one. It's a tough one. I need to see another look as Bert gets a really good run on SH. Has to go around the outside. He's got DRS. SH will have the inside line. Bert will try to hang it. No, he can't quite get it, but there's a switchback heading up the hill. Oh, a beautiful switchback from Bert. I'm not sure if SH made contact with the wall. If he did, he only just avoided it. And he has taken back P3 then again from SH. These two have been all race long pretty much, and there's been some really nice overtakes in the process as well. And that's another one for Bert to go along, heading around the outside of Massenet. And now you can try and chase after his teammate in second place, now on the same strategy as him. So I think that will be very safe for Weiberg, as Synchronizer down the inside of his teammate. That's for P9, and Extrema has retired from this race. Potentially no surprise after the damage he picked up. That's a shame though, to be fair, because he was running quite nicely and just got caught in an accident in the tunnel. And meanwhile, Matter trying to follow through Focky down the inside, and that's a brilliant, that's a great overtake into the chicane. That's how you do it. I know Focky's tires are absolutely dead, or more, well, not dead, but just compared to an 8 lap old set of mediums compared to 27 laps of hards. But that's an exhibition of how to place your car. And that's an exhibition of how to, overtake into the chicane. And from Focky as well, to be fair, because obviously he can make that very difficult and stubborn as well, but he played his part in that overtake as well. So great racing there between those two. Now Matter can try and follow after his teammate Synchronizer, Focky's teammate Synchronizer rather, for a P9. Not a little battle race here from Synchronizer, to be fair. See if you can level up the position changes. There you go then. So really only Merck losing out in the top 10 mostly. CVG's down a place as well, and the rest, obviously everyone's gained quite a bit due to obviously likes of 10k from 6th, etc, etc. But apart from that, then the field has spread out just a bit. Bert then is dropping SH 2.3 seconds, so will that come back towards SH near the end of the race? We'll see. Wesker still quite close behind his teammate for 5th place, so I think he has actually got the upper hand on his teammate, because I think his teammate's got one more penalty than Wesker does. But I suspect the difference between Merck getting by Adibaba as quick as he did, is that unsafe release? Oh, it's Adibaba's round. And Adibaba's strange race goes from bad to worse as Focky then comes into the pits. He puts on a set of soft tyres, and they'll come out behind Timo then, as Adibaba then retires from this race. Not sure where on the track, but he is out. And we are down then to 14 runners. Yeah, what a weird race from Adibaba. That's the strangest one I've seen for a while. But there you go. So Focky then emerges in P13, 8 seconds behind Timo in 12th. I guess the only little battle really is between Stevie G here in 8th, who's got Synchronizer just less than a second behind him, and Matter less than a second behind him. They're all on mediums. Stevie G's being the oldest, 16 laps, Synchronizer 2 laps younger than that, and then Matter having the significantly younger tyres than that in 10th. Been a good drive from Matter, to be fair, from the back. I don't know if he would have had a default setup or not. He's also got wing damage as well, so he's driving pretty well. All things considered, as I think the gap between Burt and Weiber's just come down just a little bit. Again, Weiber can kind of just cruise and try and manage his tyres. Burt's got a little bit more pressure to try and pull out some of a gap, so when his tyres do fall off, he's got that enough of a gap to maybe hold on, at least with enough laps remaining. Because lap 32 or 39 now, as we begin to wind down in this race. It's been actually a pretty good race, to be fair. A lot of action for sure. A few controversies for sure. As I was saying before that went down, I think the literal difference between I lost my train of thought earlier, but I think the difference between Wesker not getting by Alibaba as soon as he was medium traction, because I do think with Merck, first chance of asking, the one traction zone that matters the most on this track, which is coming out of Portier. Obviously, Alibaba's tyres are much older. Merck's younger. With no traction, he was just able to do it straight away. And I think that was the difference between. It'd also be the difference between Wesker basically being, a lot further up than he is at the moment. So, anyways, I'm sure that could be a sticking point after the race. But we still have a little battle here for P8. I'm not too sure of the penalty situation. Again, we'll kind of all see it unfold as when the race ends. But there's your gaps. Venom Splits is kind of in that range where you just can't quite pit for a set of softs and set the fastest lap, because it would be kind of touch and go between himself and Weiberg. Because he hasn't got that gap, he can't quite do it. And for the moment, fastest lap does belong to 10K in P. Well, sorry, he's retired. He's in 17th. He's out of the race, so he can't really do anything about that, and no one really can comfortably, unless again let's can find a second or two where Weiberg makes a mistake and drops off further, and CVG picks up a 3-second penalty. And how crucial could that be in his squabble for P8? Possibly even more, because I suspect the stewards might want to have a look at I'm pretty sure Adam reversed onto the racing line and collected a few cars. I need to see the replay, I need to see other point of views as well, but I'm pretty sure that was a thing that happened. And I think Matterswing might have been involved in that, actually, to be fair. I'm not too sure, but yeah, need to see it again. As Synchronizer getting closer to that McLaren. Previous TMT race winner here, of course, Synchronizer, on his way to the Div. I can't remember what division it was. Div 4 title? I actually can't remember. It's been a long time. This is a win that started at all, though, at Monaco. And here's a decent run for a Synchronizer out of Portier. It's going to be his best chance, surely, to have a look at that McLaren, who covers off the left-hand side. I think he's going to go for it. And in the end, has to back out of it. And eventually settles in behind CVG once again. Has a little look towards the back, but again, unless you're down the inside, it's not a turn you can really lunge someone into. Again, you need to be fairly confident who you're racing as well. As they begin lap 35. And look at how much Burt has dropped SH in the end. Like, all the while, he hasn't really made too much more inroads on his teammate after, initially making up those 2 or 3 seconds. He's just absolutely dropped SH. Who I wonder he does have wing damage. He has significant wing damage, actually. Both end plates of that Ferrari are missing, and that's why he's losing so much time. That's going to bring Merck and Wesker into the fold. They're going to be ever increasing in pressure behind that Ferrari, though I suspect, unless SH has another clout with the wall, I suspect he'll be safe, because Merck has got 2 penalties and Wesker has 1, and SH obviously has 1 as well. So we'll see what happens. He only has to hang on for another 4 laps, including the one they're on. Again, tight between this little group, and Sway getting into it here as well. Sway could yet pick up a point here if once penalties are all said and done, and Sway will be definitely ruin his race it went wrong in a number of places. Not to mention, he got, I think he was collected by Adam, heading out of Anthony Noakes here. Ooh, a bit of a snap of oversteer, almost losing the car there. We've lost all chances of points after that, but the gap then continuing to close down between SH and the two Williams, as obviously they close in on a damaged car. Now sporting the 90th anniversary liveries, that's very nice. As, oh, synchronizer. To be fair, Stevie G saw him coming, and to be honest, the sync gets through there. If Stevie G doesn't see that coming and move over to the left hand side, that move does not happen, and that ends up in the collision. So good racing there for Stevie G to kind of see the situation. Opportunistic move by synchronizer. It does work out for him in the end. I wouldn't be too happy if I was Stevie G about that, but alas, synchronizer is through, and now it's up to Matter. Oh, and he's collected himself, and Sway's going to nip on through for some points. So Stevie G again, it's not the first time this race he's made contact with the left hand side of that barrier heading down towards the chicane, and now he's thrown away his points, and Matter couldn't get out of the way in time, and now he's damaged his wing as well, and that's going to allow synchronizer and Sway then to nip through. So synchronizer dodged a big bullet then with that one getting through earlier then, so I'm sure he'll be thanking his lucky stars he got that done, as Matter then has to come into the pits. And now within DRS is Merck, so he's called to the back of that Ferrari, but can he do anything about it? The car has got damage, and Stevie G then retires from this race, and Focky can still get a point here. Where is Focky? Oh, he's actually just been overtaken by Timo, literally as we say that, and Timo then moves into that last points paying position. So after an unlikely I didn't think the Racing Points would get back into the points, but at the moment a double point scoring is in the offing for the Pink Panthers, as actually Timo is overtaken by Focky through down towards Mirbo. So Focky taking back that position. He's on much younger soft, so it must have been a mistake maybe that pushed Focky into the clutches of Timo. As we begin a lap 38, SH hasn't really lost a whole lot of time that last lap, and Wesker needs to get a little bit closer to this action as well. Yellow flag in sector 2. I think that's, yes, it's Timo. He's missing his front wing, so he's had a collision then. I'm not sure with Focky, but he's had a collision, and now he's going to be in last place pretty much. So it's unfortunate for him, as we continue to watch Merck and SH get closer and closer and closer, as Venom Slits has become the final lap of this race. Just shows you kind of how that race has been at for him. He's just absolutely from once he a bit of a nervous start, because Merck actually got the better start initially, but once he managed to keep that position, he has been on another level since, and he's going to come and take a very well deserved race win in the end. I have to keep an eye on him, as Merck SH. Oh, he's a good run from Merck. We have a look into Rascast. We go for a switchback of sorts with a lock-up from SH. Oh, contact between Merck and SH, and Merck's wing has come flying off, and now his teammate's going to be arriving onto the scene as well for the final lap, but he is just a little bit further behind, and that's surely going to scupper any attempts for Merck to try and have a go with that respective wing damage of his own. But meanwhile, we continue to look at Venom Splits as he heads through to back one last time. It's been absolutely stellar race, and to be honest, he should be in Division 1, but it's conversation for another time, as he rounds Rascast for the last time. The master of Monaco in Division 2, Venom Splits, with full ERS to boot, going to come across the line and take a well-deserved race win at Monaco, as we continue to watch SH, Merck and Wesker all in close to each other. Matter unsafely as they finish their races. Meanwhile, in second place, it's been an absolutely brilliant drive from TMT Weiberg. Absolutely brilliant drive. Crucially, unlike the rest, he was the first through on Adibaba, was able to pull out a gap and managed to make this strategy work. 29 laps on the medium tyre. His teammates will follow through for a double Toro Rosso podium. Same strategy, same great result for Bert. Podium for him. As coming through then it's going to be SH, at least on track. We'll see what penalties have to say when this all said and done. So Wesker then, so in fourth place remains SH. Wesker then jumps his teammate for fifth place. Merck in sixth. TFT's lap time was just a few hundredths off in the end. Swinen jumps up to eighth place. Synchronizer finishes ninth, and Focky should come home to finish 10th. He will come and finish 10th because Matter has already finished the race, being a lap down. And there is your Monaco Grand Prix. What a race! What a race indeed. Not short on drama, not short on controversy, but there you go. Venom Splits, easy win in the end, but a double Toro Rosso podium. Very impressive stuff indeed. That really paid off for them. But they had to negotiate the traffic well, and actually Bert had some brilliant moves on SH. He really got the job done. And takes a well-deserved podium in the process. Some great drives out there, I have to say. Really were some great drives. But if I had to give driver of the day to someone, I mean, Venom Splits obviously deserved a good shout. Weiberg deserved a good shout. It's hard to say. It really is. I'll go Venom Splits just because of the domination, and he ultimately had no penalties in the end. Same with Sway, to be fair, and Focky. So good results, some good drives from them as well. But I'll give driver of the day to Venom just based on the domination and no penalties. But honestly, Weiberg, Burt deserve good shouts as well. Wesker made some good places in the end as well. So there you go. There's your lot from the Monaco Grand Prix. Thanks very much for watching. Next up is Monaco for Division 3 on Friday, 8 o'clock. That should be should be fun. So anyways, until next time.